Ronaldo continues historic run, scores brace and tops 500 post-30 goals in Al-Nassr win. They said the clock would catch him. They said 30 was the beginning of the decline. They said the legs would slow, the hunger would soften, the records would finally rest. But under the Riyadh lights, as the ball rolled perfectly into his path and the net rippled once more, the truth became impossible to ignore. Time hadn't caught Cristiano Ronaldo. He had outrun it. And on a night that felt like both celebration and defiance, he didn't just score twice for Al-Nassr. He crossed a line that few in football history ever even approach, 500 goals after turning 30. But this story isn't about numbers. It's about how a man refuses to fade. The myth of the decline. In football, aging is treated like gravity. It's not debated, it's assumed. When a player turns 30, commentators begin to speak differently. Words like transition, final chapters, and legacy enter the conversation. For Ronaldo, those whispers began years ago. Yet every time the narrative leaned toward inevitability, he responded not with speeches, but with goals. Goals in new leagues. Goals in unfamiliar stadiums. Goals that felt less like routine finishes and more like rebuttals. By the time he arrived in Saudi Arabia, many expected a gentle slowdown. A symbolic twilight. Instead, what unfolded was something far more relentless. Riyadh before kickoff. The stadium hummed long before the first whistle. Children held signs with his name painted unevenly in bold letters. Phones were raised even during warm-ups. Every movement he made felt magnified. There's something different about watching a legend late in his career. Every touch carries the weight of memory. Fans don't just see the present. They see echoes, Manchester nights, Madrid miracles, continental triumphs. But tonight wasn't about nostalgia. It was about proof. The first goal, familiar fire. The breakthrough didn't feel accidental. A sharp movement inside the box. A defender half a step late. A pass threaded with precision. Ronaldo adjusted his body instinctively. The finish was clinical, not extravagant, not theatrical. Just certain. The net shook. He didn't sprint wildly in celebration. Instead, he turned, arms slightly raised, expression calm. This wasn't surprise. It was expectation fulfilled. The crowd erupted, but beneath the roar was recognition. They had seen this before. Across countries. Across decades. The hunger hadn't dimmed. The journey to 500. 500 goals after 30 is not a statistic that arrives by accident. It is built in empty gyms. In ice baths at midnight. In meals measured with precision. While others rested on reputation, Ronaldo redefined routine. He understood something few athletes accept willingly, that natural ability fades unless fortified by obsession. Where some saw aging, he saw challenge. Where some saw decline, he saw opportunity to evolve. His game shifted subtly over the years. Less about explosive dribbles, more about positioning. Less about constant flair, more about decisive movement. Adaptation became survival. And survival became dominance. The second goal, the statement. The second strike carried a different energy. It came later in the match, when fatigue began to creep into defenders' legs. A cross floated into the box. For a split second, it seemed slightly overhit. But Ronaldo timed his leap with unnatural precision. He rose above the defender, not by inches, but by will. The header thundered downward. Goal. The stadium erupted louder than before. This one felt symbolic. Strength. Timing. Elevation. Even after 30. Even after criticism. Even after expectations of decline. He wasn't just scoring. He was declaring permanence. The teammates' reaction. Football is a team sport, but milestones often feel personal. After the second goal, teammates surrounded him, some laughing, some shaking their heads in disbelief. Younger players who had grown up watching him now shared the pitch with him. To them, this wasn't just a captain scoring twice. It was history unfolding beside them. And history carries inspiration. When a 39-year-old outpaces defenders, younger legs feel compelled to match intensity. His presence sets a standard that extends beyond goals. The crowd and the chant. As the game progressed, chants grew rhythmic and unified. It wasn't just about the brace. Word had spread quickly, the milestone had been crossed. 500 goals after 30. The number rolled through the stadium like a wave. But in truth, the crowd wasn't celebrating arithmetic. They were celebrating defiance. In a sport obsessed with youth, Ronaldo continues to rewrite the timeline. The shadow of the past. Every achievement in his present casts a shadow of comparison to his past. From the explosive winger at Manchester United to the unstoppable scorer at Real Madrid, each era of his career feels distinct. But what unites them is intent. He never accepted ceilings. Not in England. Not in Spain. Not in Italy. Not in Saudi Arabia. Each chapter demanded adaptation. Each adaptation demanded sacrifice. And now, long after many of his peers have retired, he continues to redefine possibility. Beyond the numbers, statistics can be dazzling, but they rarely capture effort. They don't show the mornings when muscles ache differently than they used to. They don't show the discipline required to resist comfort. What makes this milestone remarkable isn't just quantity. It's continuity. Year after year, league after league, expectation after expectation, he produces. Not because he relies on yesterday's form, but because he reinvents tomorrow's standard. The philosophy of longevity. Longevity in football is rarely accidental. It requires evolution. Ronaldo's transformation from flashy winger to penalty box predator wasn't loss, it was strategy. He understood that explosiveness fades, but intelligence sharpens. He learned angles. He studied defenders' habits. He mastered timing. And most importantly, he protected his body like a priceless instrument. While others saw age creeping in, he treated it like a rival to defeat. What this means for Al-Nassr. For Al-Nassr, nights like this validate ambition. Signing Ronaldo wasn't just about marketing. It was about belief that elite standards can elevate an entire league. When he scores twice and reaches milestones under their banner, it intertwines his legacy with theirs. The stadium grows fuller. The expectations grow higher. The spotlight grows brighter. And with that spotlight comes responsibility. But Ronaldo has always thrived in light. The final whistle. When the referee ended the match, the scoreboard confirmed victory. But the deeper victory was intangible. Ronaldo walked toward the tunnel with the same measured stride he has carried for years. No excessive celebration. No dramatic gestures. Just quiet satisfaction. 500 goals after 30 isn't the culmination of his story. It's another chapter. Another reminder that decline is not destiny. What comes next? Will he slow down eventually? Probably. All athletes do. But predicting when has become a dangerous game. Every time analysts forecast the end, he responds with another record. Another brace. Another milestone. What seems clear is this. He will continue until he decides otherwise. Not until critics suggest it. Not until numbers dip slightly. Until he feels the fire fade. And judging by nights like this, that fire burns undiminished. Legacy in motion. There are players remembered for brilliance. Others for trophies. Ronaldo will be remembered for persistence. For the refusal to conform to timelines. For turning 30 into a second prime rather than a final chapter. And as the crowd in Riyadh filtered out into the night, one truth lingered stronger than any statistic. He is still running, still leaping, still scoring, still chasing something just beyond the horizon. Because for Cristiano Ronaldo, history isn't something you protect. It's something you keep rewriting. And on this night, with 2 more goals and another milestone conquered, he didn't just continue a historic run. He reminded the world that greatness, when fueled by obsession, does not age quietly.